So in today's weekly Jinx video, for those that don't know, every Wednesday on this channel, we do a Jinx video, whether it's about the lore, the meta, a certain matchup, a certain build, anything to do with Jinx, and it's decided by you, commenting in the comment section down below about what you want to see me talk about for next week's Jinx video. Now for this video, what we're going to be talking about is DoubleLift playing Jinx in Pro Play. And on a real quick side note, this video might also act as a weekly discussion thread video for the Jinx subreddit League of Jinx, so if you want to head over there and talk with other Jinx mains about, this topic or any other topic having to do with Jinx, feel free to. Now, the reason that we're talking about that DoubleLift play Jinx in Pro Play is because it kind of completes this narrative we've been discussing for several weeks about just Jinx in Pro Play, period. Her viability, what she does or doesn't need to be viable in Pro Play. The whole W kind of cooldown buff that happened, and it was aimed for Pro Play specifically because these following patches from about 7.15 to 7.18 are both the Worlds qualifying patches, and then like the patch Worlds will probably be played on. So they're going to be balancing like dozens of champions on these patches to try and get them at least viable for Pro Play. And so I think DoubleLift playing Jinx in this game, it was game 2 of TSM versus CLG on the last day of the North American LCS, the first time Jinx has been played at least all split in the North American LCS, and only the 14th time Jinx has been played globally in all of Season 7. And I think what was great about it, first of all, spoiler alert, they won. He ended up going at 9-3 on the champion. But one of the main talking points I want to talk about first and foremost is the fact that he took Warlords over Fever. I know that was a thing people were talking about in the Discord, for example. And for me, what my explanation for it would be is there has been a bug on Jinx with the Hurricanes that has been denying her a lot of damage since 7.9. And it only just got fixed in 7.15, which the pro scene just got on. So there is a chance that that bug being fixed wasn't actually known to the pros. So taking Fever and going back on Hurricanes, which he inevitably still built Hurricanes anyway, but that fact that there's a lot of extra damage she's been missing for about 6 patches that is now back might be something pros don't quite know yet, and maybe next time he'll take Fever. But I actually think it has to do with the fact that the pro play is just a different meta than SoloQ. So he probably valued the self-healing that Warlords could give him on Jinx more so than Fever could. Sure, Fever would give him a lot more damage, and if you analyze this game, there are several team fights where maybe if he had that extra 8 stacks worth of damage, he could have cleaned up fights a bit easier, got resetting a bit earlier, or just got fed a bit faster, especially considering that they did get the first blood onto the Jinx to start the game. Now, sure, there were a couple, maybe you could say, mistakes that were just actually DoubleLift's fault more so than Jinx's fault, like the whole Afro move walking up and slowly down smashing him because he thought that was his teammate. A little bit of rust more so than like a mistake. Like he could still probably play Jinx better than most of us. I'm not saying anything about him as a player or his inability to play Jinx or that he's bad as an AD carry player. None of that stuff. More so maybe he was just out of practice with the champion, and if he was more in practice, he would have actually popped off even harder. But with that all said, that's where I'm going to justify the whole Warlords take is that the pro scene is just a different kind of monster than SoloQ is. In SoloQ, we value Fever a bit more than the self-healing that Warlords and even rushing like a Phantom Dancer would actually give you in the professional scene. That's one of the things Jinx lacks more so than anything else. It's not that her late game damage has ever been a problem, which is another point I want to talk about because we saw that in this game, which is another reason I'm happy we saw this game. The game got late. It went 50 plus minutes. Jinx was in game, and she does what Jinx has always done literally forever: melt people's faces off, especially when she's left unfocused. So in other words, it turns out when it comes to Jinx's viability for pro play, she's actually just fine. It's just a matter of being able to reach that late game. And once that late game was reached, DoubleLift did what DoubleLift does. He got a triple kill in the bot lane, similar to when he got a pentakill on her in a finals of another season, and they won the game kind of off of that. It turns out that Jinx actually probably doesn't need any buffs or anything of any sort. She is actually possibly in a just fine spot for competitive play. It's more so than anything else that she just doesn't do what other utility AD carries do, and or doesn't have the self-reliance that other tank killing AD carries do, despite the fact that we're in a tank meta and Jinx is actually good at killing tanks, right? So like, where is Jinx? Where is like Vayne or anything like that? Well, these champions are a bit more risky. They have a great reward, though, if you do pop off on them, but at the same time, like I said, a Tristana could just jump away out of situations that Jinx just can't. So going forward, I do think if we do see Jinx, it will be if games do get dragged out, but in terms of Jinx's viability, it was great to see this game. First of all, because Jinx won, of course, but second of all, because it does confirm, like I said, this narrative we've been talking about for several weeks now of what Jinx needs to be to see professional play, which we saw is kind of actually nothing at this point. It's just to reach the late game, to get to end-game items, and then that kind of is it. She just does the ridiculous, disgusting damage she's always done. So that's the discussion point, the talking point I want to talk about for this video, because it's kind of an opinionated video after watching it, and other people are going to have other opinions. You know, my word isn't law. Opinions, yeah. Other people are going to have other opinions. Maybe Jinx does need more buffs, because if she is viable, well, now we need to make her top tier, or something like that. I don't know. This is the part of the video where you in the comment section below discuss this. But that's all for this video, so feel free to like, comment, and subscribe, and thank you for watching this video. I don't know which video will be next, because life can be quite a mess. So until next time, take care. From the Fire Godai FS.